Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran and the new zone of NAZJATAR. And I know I'm going to pronounce it multiple times over, I probably am getting it wrong. NAZJATAR looks absolutely fantastic. In this video, I kind of want to show you guys some of the footages and some of the scenes that you might expect in a brand new zone. Now, in patch 8.2, we're actually getting two brand new zones. One of them is Mechagon. It'll be a gnomish, tinkerer, goblin-y, lots of scrap parts and cogwheels everywhere themed area with a dungeon for it. And the other zone is NAZJATAR, which is basically a portion of the sea floor risen from the water, or really the waters have been parted just for it, or at least that's kind of how it feels. We haven't seen the introduction to how you get this, as I didn't want to give you guys too many spoilers for it. We'll all be able to play it for patch 8.2, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse of what this place looks like. And holy crap, exploring this place, it really gives you that feeling of, hey, I'm exploring this brand new zone. And there's so much for Blizzard to do with this. They're creating an ocean floor without any of the water, so there's a lot of ways they can shape the dunes and the ground, and I feel like they did a really good job in terms of making it feel like at one point this place was fully submerged underwater. And it feels like there's so many different biomes, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to see those biomes far easier because the current map doesn't really show you really, I guess it shows you too much of a detailed, more of a realistic map, but the map that they'll have, the drawn version of it in the future, I'm pretty sure will look better. But you have the upper areas, lower areas, coral forest, the city that was obliterated, the sunken deep below. There's so much stuff everywhere in this place. And there's so many ideas of how I think it's going to play out. So if you are trying to somehow find a comparison for the zone, this is going to be very similar to the recent expansion Legion and the release of, let's say, the Broken Isles, for example, except at a much larger scale. We all thought that Mechagon was going to be super exciting, but we found out it's fairly small, so the expectations were pretty high for NAZJATAR, and oh my god, the amount of creativity that went into this place, I'm actually taken back. There's not a lot of times I make a video where I go exploring a certain area just to show you guys in a video, but this one was definitely worth it. There's so much to explore, so much to look forward to, and there's all these different mechanisms you'll be working with. For starters, Horde and Alliance will be pairing up with a faction of their own. The Alliance get these fish people, basically. They are very similar to the Jinyu of Mists of Pandaria, but a little bit cooler. They have basically the whole Night Elf model, and I guess there's potential for these guys to be a future allied race for the Alliance. The Horde, on the other hand, is supposed to pair up with, I guess, the throwaway denizens, the Sea Giants, the Giblin, and I guess the Makura, which are the lobster people. So you really do get the riffraff of the ocean, while the Alliance does get the, I would guess, the more human looking or humanoid, more royal, the upper class version of the denizens that are under the sea. The whole area itself, in some senses, should remind you, again if you played Legion, very similar of Azuna. A lot of the area and the architecture of Azuna, the Nightbornish architecture, the Night Elfy architecture, it's everywhere, no matter where you look. Overall, very impressed with the zones. They look absolutely amazing. I'm gonna shut up for a moment so you guys can see a little bit of the footage, and I'll come back to you guys and talk more about it in just a little bit. Now this new zone will serve a couple different purposes. First of all, it'll be there for basic exploration. Second, story development. Third, it'll be a location where the brand new raid with the throne room of Azshara, the kingdom of Azshara, I guess the raid of Azshara, is going to be held at. And there's also going to be a lot of stuff to do when it comes to the content for your main characters as well as alts. First of all, this place is going to be full of rares, and it feels like right now on PTR, a lot of these rares drop some of the brand new mats all over the place. That means new leathers, new cloths, new everything professional related that you might think of. There's going to be more stuff for herb, there's going to be more stuff to mine, so there's definitely going to be a lot more. It's almost like a reset to everything we have right now. So if you're already used to all the crafting stuff, profession stuff, currently this is going to be more of an addition to change a lot of those things and kind of flip them on its head. It's good overall, and the fact that Blizzard is continuing to expand, it is not the type of content I really ever dive into too deep or cover, so that's really about all I can say about that. Then of course there's going to be a lot of catch-up mechanisms, rares, and even a world boss to fight. One of the things that this place is going to do, first of all, is there's going to be the collectibles. You thinking pets, you thinking mounts, you think maybe certain cosmetic pieces, transmog stuff, maybe certain specific items, toys. There's a lot of stuff for everyone to collect. There's a lot of rares, and a lot of them are not really functional just yet for this raid. As in, there's a lot of rares all over the place, but every time you kill them, they don't really drop anything of value. So loot tables on them are going to be a little bit different. We're lucky enough to get together a group on the PTR to take on the world boss that's going to be spawning for this place. It's actually kind of cool that Blizzard is finally adding more world bosses that are not tied to the Warfront, where usually Alliance or Horde only have an access to world boss for a limited amount of time. If this is the kind of world boss that is not on some sort of rotation, as with the current world bosses we have in the game, they all rotate every single week, this one could be a static world boss where you can get on every one of your alts, kill them once a week, and get some loot. This will make it a lot more consistent, and the loot table will be something that everybody can predict. It won't be like, oh, I have this certain world boss at this certain time, so I can get this certain loot. And I really hope that they keep maybe some of the world bosses more relevant, maybe by upgrading the item levels of their loot. That's one thing that I really hope they would have done in Legion, because eventually those world bosses you don't really ever do, unless you decide to farm the hidden skin for some of the artifact appearances. Speaking more about exploration, as an Outlaw rogue, I was able to climb this tower that was meant to be climbed. When you look at it, there's actually a feather at the top that lets you slow fall. So it was really cool to get up here, and you can really get a good look at the whole zone itself, and there's so many different areas of it. It's a pretty massive zone, and when we are able to fly in this place is definitely gonna shrink, and Blizzard does have a plan for us to fly here. I mean, this whole slow fall feather, there's gotta be a reason for it. As an Outlaw rogue, I can get up here. Maybe a Demon Hunter might be able to get up. Maybe if you use certain toys or items, you might actually be able to get up here yourself, but normally, I'm pretty sure this was meant to be as a place where you fly up to and maybe use this feather for some sort of an achievement or something. But I had my own fun. I had no idea what you could do with it, so I just messed around in PTR. But just imagine what you could find in this place. I mean, this is NAZJATAR. It's supposed to be one of the biggest areas for us to explore, one of the coolest areas to explore. And while I'm not somebody who's well versed with WoW lore-wise on NAZJATAR in particular, or the Naga, or the Azshara all that well, this place definitely feels like it has a lot of potential to it. I'm overall very excited to see where this place is going to take us, what you can explore, where you can go, what you can do, and very, very optimistic about the future of BFA with this stuff being in the patch 8.1. Now, this was me simply just exploring some of the stuff, and I only began to scratch the surface of this. To get really deep into what will be on here, we'll have to wait a few patches, a few iterations on PTR, and then finally be able to play it once 8.2 goes live. There's a lot of potential to this place, is I guess what I can say. In terms of what is 100% guaranteed here, this will be one of the first few places where you'll be able to upgrade our necklaces. Like, for example, there's a vendor to upgrade your necklace essences. There'll be all the reputation stuff as well. But there's also a major system for catch-up mechanisms as well. So far, we can't really play with these catch-up mechanisms, but it seems that very similar to Broken Shore, we do get these items that you can buy for either your mains or your alts. Now, we don't know how this item will work. They do have these Azshara enchantments that are account bound, and you could use those enchantments to upgrade a piece of gear. One of them you'll use to upgrade from a 385 to 400, and the others you'll be able to upgrade to a maximum of 430 using these enchantments. And you can pass them around to your alts. Now, pretty sure that these tokens that we have, the Benthic Helm, Benthic Chestguard, Benthic items, which will be the catch-up mechanisms, you might be able to pass around to your alts, or you might need to go do some content on your alts to unlock them, and then use your main to upgrade those pieces. So I feel like in a sense it's going to be a much better catch-up mechanism because you don't have to get on the alt particularly to get your characters caught up, but rather you do everything from your main to help your alts catch up. So I guess it will be kind of nice because you don't have to swap between characters in order to get the progress individually. You can still do the stuff on your main character like farming reputation while being able to catch up your alts in free time. Overall, lots of stuff to do here. There's also this whole mechanic of getting a bodyguard and leveling up a bodyguard while doing certain quests. And of course, there's also the main story, which I haven't been able to check out that much really. There's world quests, there's also PvP stuff that you can do with different locations you can capture. There's so much to do in NAZJATAR. I don't really want to spoil it for myself, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys. You guys can log on PTR and test this out for yourself if you're that interested. I am more just trying to save most of this stuff for the real thing in 8.2. I just want to explore a bit, and I thought it would be so cool to share this with you guys of what there is to come to NAZJATAR, the brand new zone, the whole Azara thing, and where it goes. Very cool, very excited, and it's looking very, very promising for the future of BFA, especially in patch 8.2. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be making an updated class guide video for 8.2 stuff if any major stuff comes out. For some of the classes you guys were looking at, like rogues, warriors, maybe enhancement shamans, or what is going on with the Frost Death Knights, or really almost any class that I'm personally interested in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.